Hello everyone. Um, I know I said that I wouldn't do any more Let's Plays, but this is different. I've been waiting to do this for a long time, and I was going to just go ahead and play it, without recording it, but it just didn't seem right. I felt like I had to record my reaction, so here we go. There we go. I had forgotten to plug in my headphones. I'm really excited to play this. I've had it just sitting in my computer, like already installed, and I haven't gotten around to playing it until right now.
Asago Academy, Normal Boots Club.
Alrighty then. So if you guys have not heard about this game, if you've ever seen certain gamers like Peanut Butter Gamer, JonTron, I can't think of anyone else, but they're in this like group called Normal Boots, and this is a dating simulator based on all the Normal Boots people, and so it's a school called Asago Academy, and the Normal Boots is a club in the academy, and then there's like a rival club called Hidden Block, which is another group of gamers on YouTube, and I know who I'm going to go for in this playthrough. It's going to be Peanut Butter Gamer because he's pretty much my favorite gamer YouTuber. Well, I mean, JonTron is also really cool. I'm gonna go for Peanut Butter Gamer. And I felt like I had more to say, but I don't know. I just want to go ahead and start playing. Let's just go ahead and get started. Chapter 1. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther away from home. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. I was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading, and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had been almost an hour. In fact, he hadn't once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth, over and over. Now and again, I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. 1, 2, 3. Something's shaking. The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy and his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green, varsity-like jacket with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on front. So you were first year then? This is Pro Jared, by the way. I personally don't watch his videos. Not that I have anything against him. I just don't. So you're first year then? He folded his newspaper neatly, set it in his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. There's this thing in this game where they make Jared like really, like the handsome one. I don't get that. I don't think he's the handsome one of the bunch. I really don't. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling. Me? He glanced around the compartment empty besides us and left. Oh, no, I'm not a first year, I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on the student before I even arrived at the academy? The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton skirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. It's because I'm a transfer with a question mark. Because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again. A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those. I removed my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavy weight, off-white, and had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. The boy took it, studied it, and then handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
Well then, Hannah, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name and I never got his. That sneaky Jared. The train settled at the station and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April and the last frost of winter had come and gone. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering in the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with the swarm of blue-jacketed bodies looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animately around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school-issued black Oxford clicked on the pavement. I watched this walk over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from the train station to Asago Academy for this first time. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow everything would be magically different. When I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. I hadn't. Aww. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment. Slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in these pamphlets. This was it. Asago Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. And the crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. That is indeed a tired-looking man. He doesn't even have his freaking eyes open. A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Hey, look at that girl. I turned. A few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? How desperate can you get? For having pink hair? Desperation? Pink hair. Okay, guy. If that's what you say. Hot shames crawl down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls, following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against gravel. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. So like you're overly dramatic. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. Somehow she's naturally pink-haired. Go figure. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign in the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. It dwarfed you in sheer intimidation as well as in size? Doesn't make sense. How many students did Asago have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over.
Oh, you must be my roommate!
Am I? I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle. A perpetual bouncy castle. It sounds like it would be fun, but it would probably get really tiring after a while.
What?
Me?
Bingo.
Of course, you silly. Let me guess, room 325. I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with a list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? Oh, the shame. Oh, the constant not knowing. When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were going to be a total main character. Is that a fourth wall break? Or is that something people say? Because I've never heard people say that. I'm sorry. A what? When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair. She has pink hair. Like, I've seen people with pink hair. Not naturally, of course, because that doesn't exist. But why are people making such a big deal out of it? I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I hadn't spent more than 5 minutes on campus and I was already being mocked. Oh, the shame. The shame! My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slackened from the amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began to laugh again. No, it's...
Oh, no. It's great, I'm sorry. We're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh, gosh. I'm Mai Sasaki. You must be Hana.
Bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai. That's how you pronounce it, right? All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. Our envelope? I hope you're not mad. I sure would be. Mai started walking toward the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Did you check in at the front desk already? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to. Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the... Good? How's that good? That we didn't do what we didn't do what we were supposed to do. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate a room with. I started out early, I hope you don't mind. But I did wait to string the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know. She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. She held the front door open for me and I hurried inside. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties. Is that a word? I've never seen that before. That were, more often than not, how was your break? And look at how tan you got. It seemed like everyone knew each other. Except for me. I followed Maya as she led me through the maze of students and up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked the same as the last, narrow white doors lining both sides of pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked to the front of each, the numbers rising as we climbed. You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year and he's like, totally no. He just drags you around the entire campus and tucks in that weird squeaky voice of his. Tell you everything you need to know. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Maya stopped us in front of a door numbered 325. Here we are. A faint smell of potpourri? I don't know what that is. Wafted through the room. The walls, like the hallway, were a soft powdery pink. Maya already defaced them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. Some of the photos were of cats, but most were of male models and rugged musicians. A bunk bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only piece of the furniture in the tiny room. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and a thin cotton blanket that I didn't need to touch to know that it was horribly itchy. I must have grimaced because Maya quickly smiled at me. I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over break and Mom got really mad at me because I brought 5 bags, but we were only there for a week. Oh my. She laughed, pulled several blankets and pillows from her bunk and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me. Why?
Perfect.
There, that's much better. Thanks, Mai. I placed my suitcase in the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, and an old portable radio in a small black box. Maya opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in. So, where are you from? I slid the now empty suitcase under the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here, it's a small town called Amaririsu. You probably haven't heard of it. I set the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Oh, did you go to a different boarding school or? No, I went to a public school down the street from my house. Public school?
Really?
What was that like? Were the students mean? Did you have a lot of friends? I always went to private schools. My parents work a lot and my dad goes overseas, so I think they stuck me here for convenience. Oh hey, what's that? I removed an ornately patterned origami crane from the black box and was setting it on the unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mother made it for me a long time ago. I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I assumed were provided for me.
Aww.
Wow, it's so pretty. I've never seen paper like that before. Oh yeah, the lights. Let me get them. Maya went down to her own desk, opened the drawer, and pulled out a long tangled string of fairy lights. I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up. She grabbed a container of pushpins, then pulled her wooden desk chair out and over to one wall. I did the same with my own. Together, we pinned the lights around the perimeter of the room. How was the train ride over? Did you meet anyone? No, not really. I was in a compartment with some guy and... Some guy, huh? Was he cute? Girls always talking about guys and if they're cute or not. Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Didn't even get his name. Mai seemed disappointed for a moment, then perked back up. You'll have to point him out to me if you see him again. Okay. Once we finished stringing the lights, Mai climbed down from her chair and brushed her hands together triumphantly. Done! Okay, now it's time for lunch. The food here is pretty good. There's this ramen place down the street from campus that's like out of this world. But the school only lets us leave campus on weekends. Maya walked to the window. We could go today because it's Sunday and it's pretty nice out, but I guess you might want to go to the cafe since you just got here. We could. She was suddenly interrupted by her own enthusiastic laughter. Oh my gosh, Mimi Santos totally just tripped outside and fell on her face. I saw it. Oh, is that mean to laugh? Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well, anyways, let's go eat. I'm totally starved. She led me out of the room before I even had the chance to respond. The cafeteria was buzzing with students excited for the new year. The only people as nervous looking as I felt... What? The only people as nervous looking as I felt were the tables of skittish, wide-eyed first years. I stepped into line behind Mai, taking an empty plastic tray. We shuffled through, asking for helpings from the sulky cafeteria workers when we passed something that looked good. With full trays, Mai led me straight to a table in the back where a few students were already sitting. Mai sat down and I took a seat across from her. Hi Mai, how was your break? It was good. I went to Italy and Spain. Dad fell off a ski jet and broke his ankle. How is that good? It's better now though. Oh. Well, that's nice. Well, that's nice, I guess. I expected to be introduced, but the girl turned back to her group of friends and Maya turned back to me. She began to assault her food with... That's quite a what's the word? That's quite a depiction of what happened. She assaulted her food with her fork. She began to assault her food with a fork and tell me in a practically minute-by-minute account about her fleeting romance last summer with a boy she met on the beach. It didn't go further than a few salty kisses. I sat back and let Mai talk. For the first time since arriving on campus, I felt like I was finally able to breathe. I picked up my Brussels sprouts and studied Mai as she spoke. The more she talked, the more I began to notice the small details about her. She had a high songbird voice. She was dynamic and her face twisting this way and that into exaggerated expressions as she spoke. She laughed often. She imitated people in wildly unflattering voices, seemingly unrelated to her actual opinion of them. But most notably, she talked. A lot, yes. We didn't need to be told that to notice. I didn't find this particularly annoying as it filled the silence and she hardly ever asked questions that required my full attention. Well, it didn't really bother me because I could just not pay attention to her and I'd be fine. Just as Maya was rounding off a shockingly detailed account of the time she accidentally walked in on her friend's older brother in the act of changing, a flash of a familiar green caught my eye. I glanced over. Hey, that's him! Huh? Who? I leaned across the table to whisper just in case you could hear me through the ambient chatter of the lunchroom. The boy from the train, that's him. Jared?
What?
Yeah, with a weird green jacket and swoopy hair. He just picked up his tray and was walking past us when something seemed to catch his eye. That music? Oh, you. I looked up at him, suddenly realizing he was talking to me. To me? Hannah, I met you on the train. How are things settling down for you? Really well. I found my roommate and she's been helping me out. I gestured to Mai, who was thunderstruck. In fact, looking around, everyone was. People stopped eating to turn around and stare at Jared at me, my shoulders bunched up around my neck. Well, if you ever need any help, I'll be around. 3rd year, right? I nodded. Some of my friends are in that year. Of course, they can't compare to me. But I'll give them the heads up to look out for you. He flashed a dazzling smile and winked. It's the least I can do for such a cute girl. Well, I'll see you around. I watched the torrent of thoughts raging through my head as he took a seat next to a bunch of guys who were all wearing the same jacket. That's Jared! He tore her eyes away from him and looked at me.
He's so cute.
He's the most beautiful guy in school. Why him? Why did they choose him? He's not. He's not.
Oh, Jared.
I can't believe he just looked at me. I looked at Mai. Her cheeks were glowing in indecent pink. Why do they all wear those jackets? Aren't all the guys supposed to wear blue blazers as part of their uniform? No, they're allowed. No, they're allowed to. There. You know Jared? The girl turned back around and was looking at me with sudden interest. Did I know him? I only talked to him on the train for a few minutes. Not really. We weren't friends or anything. But looking around, Mai and this girl weren't the only ones who were interested. Everybody seemed to be listening in. They seemed so surprised when he talked to me. Maybe a little white lie couldn't hurt. I am running out of time. So I'll catch you guys next time. Let's see what kind of response I give and how it'll. Okay then.